Yes,
Dig
yes.
it right in. I really wanted to talk real quickly about the AP top 25 and really want to talk about the top end first. You know, at the beginning of the year, it looked one way, and then we've had all kinds of changes throughout the 8 weeks. But if you look at the top five, it's the if you take out Cincinnati, who's number two, it's the same four teams that were there at the beginning of the year that all stubbed their toe, except for Georgia.
Right.
Georgia 1, Cincinnati 2, Oklahoma 3, Alabama 4, and Ohio State 5. Isn't it funny how all that kind of came back around? So pretty interesting how that's hashed out, and I'm kind of believing, definitely believing in Ohio State right now. I'll tell you, I think they've still got a long way to go to get through the couple of tough teams, but I think they're gonna end up there. It's gonna be like it normally is, unfortunately for us and our teams. But I need to start by apologizing to the Dog fans. Last week when I was talking about their championship run that they're on right now, I made a terrible mistake in my numbers. I said last week that it had been 31 years since they'd won a national championship. I was off by 10. It's 41.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers, Dave. You got to get those numbers up,
41
baby.
years.
Got to get those numbers
Okay. So
up.
just wanted to clear that up for the Dogs, you know. Gator Dave had a tough week last week in a lot of fronts. Obviously, 4-6, not where we want to be. We kind of turned things around from the week before, totally the opposite. My Gators had a horrendous game. Oh my goodness. They scored a few points at the end, but I mean LSU beat them.
Yes,
And
they did.
we were favored by 11 points and got beat. I mean, our defense just crumbled. We couldn't tackle, which we've had issues all year. And Grantham just can't hang. They ran the same play, I think someone said 21 times, and we just faltered and couldn't get it right. We couldn't stop a running back the running back had 270 yards in 6 games, and he comes into our game and has 280 yards, and we can't stop him. It was horrible. I wish they'd have fired Grantham on Monday, but it's probably not going to happen until the freaking year's over. So, but Mullen's on the hot seat now for that silliness and some of the coaching things that have gone on right now. So, you know, he can somewhat redeem himself by beating the Dogs next week. But like we were saying before the broadcast, there is no way that's going to happen. Going to be tough. It's going to be tough time down there in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
All right, well let's hop right into the slate. Let's start in my home state and of Tennessee. Even though I'm not a fan, Tennessee is at Alabama. Alabama, of course, ranked number 4 in the land again, jumping back up there again. 27.5 points. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. Tennessee's 4-3 now. They're 3-4 against the spread. Their big wins this year so far have been South Carolina and Mizzou. So they really some real signature wins there for the Vols, which I'm being facetious, not really. But everybody's getting their hopes up, you know, like they always do in Tennessee. Now I will say their quarterback, Hendon Hooker, ranked number 5 in passing efficiency right now in the nation, which is pretty impressive. The Tennessee offense ranks 16th in the country, and the Vols are coming around, right? Yeah, coming around. But they got to play the Tide, right? So the Tide rank, let's see, they're 6-1, 3-3 against the spread. Bryce Young is number 4 in passing efficiency in all the land at 180. Alabama defense is ranked 12th. Their only loss we know went down to A&M. And I think Saban and crew are still pretty pissed about the loss. However, 27.5. I mean, I looked at their Alabama's wins and what they've done so far. I don't know. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can cover the 27.5. As much as I hate betting on the Vols. I'm going to go here and say take those points. I don't think Bama can cover. What you think?
Is Hendon Hooker going to play? Or is he out?
That I don't know.
With an injury.
I did not. Are you reading he's out?
Well, from what I saw last week, because I watched a little bit of the game, I mean, he was beat up, man. He couldn't even put any weight on one of his legs. Let me see. Heupel said he got some work in on the practice field. He had a knee injury against Ole Miss. Walk through practice, blah, 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 blah. So they don't know. They're kind of keeping it hush-hush. I feel like that's just smoke and mirrors, trying to stall out Bama maybe. I don't think he's going to go. I love Hendon Hooker.
If he doesn't go, it's a totally different story.
Yeah, I don't think he goes. And for that reason, I think it's Alabama. Even if he does, Alabama's so physical and aggressive that if he's not 100% or 80% at least, I don't think he's going to be in that ball game very long. It'll be the Joe Milton show, and we know how Joe Milton is at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm actually on Alabama first half in this one, Dave. I'm looking at Alabama first half. Let me double check what the line is. I know earlier in the week, I think it was like minus 13.5.
Oh, really? How did I get that all wrong at 27?
Well, no, just the first half. Just the first half.
Oh, the first half. I got you.
Yeah. So right now it's at minus 15.5. So people have jumped on that from that initial line. So it's moved up a little bit. That number's a little more dicey. Especially if you think Tennessee's going to put up, some sort of fight in this game. I'll probably still throw something on it, but that minus 14.5 number is really, where if you were going to get on that, you were looking to get on it there. I mean, minus 13.5. It's already shot up that much, so we'll see what that line does, but that's probably where I would look at with that one, Dave.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Second game I wanted to look at is LSU Ole Miss. So this one is at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss getting 9.5. LSU's 4-3 record, 3-4 against the spread. Last week, of course, they whooped my Gators. They found a run game because Grantham's defense sucked. Remember, they lost to Kentucky by 21 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I really don't know where they go from here at this point. They do have to go on the road. We know Coach O's leaving, right? So he's leaving at the end of the year. He's basically gonna finish the year out. So I don't know what that does to the psyche of those kids, whether they jump on and say win one for the O or not. So we'll have to see. Ole Miss 5-1, 4-2 against the spread. They got the number 2 offense in the NCAA, but as in Hooker is banged up, Matt Corral's banged up as well. I did catch that one, and I don't, Kiffin's playing funnies with everything right now, so you can't tell what he's thinking about at this point. So this is another one hard to read when you got a injured quarterback like this, because it will make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
But at this point, I'm gonna say it's 9.5, which is a ton, and We all know Ole Miss has no defense whatsoever, zero. And the question is this thing going to be a track meet or not, and can LSU keep up? I mean, to me, 10 points is a lot here. I'm going to have to lean LSU here because of the almost 10 points.
Yep.
I mean, I think Ole Miss wins the game, but I just don't see them being able to cover the 9.5 points.
Yeah. No, I'm personally not on this game, but I'm with you. If Matt Corral's not 100%, Ole Miss, like you said, their defense is very suspect. LSU should get a running game going. Orgeron, remember, had a gig with Ole Miss at one point, so he's got a little something extra in his back pocket for him as well.
Yeah.
So I think his guys will rally behind him. I think they'll try to give Coach O his farewell tour per se.
Yep.
So I'm with you. I think LSU, even buying that up maybe to 10 and a half. I like the chance at an outright upset too as well.
Yeah, it can happen.
Yep.
Can happen.
I like that.
All right, let's go. Let's go back to the hometown. Memphis Tigers at Central Florida. Central Florida getting 2 points here. So Tigers are 4-3 on the year, 3-4 against the spread. Last week they beat Navy, won 35-17.
Yep.
The offense is still clicking. I mean, ranked 10th in the country. That offense is. UCF 3-3, 1-5 against the spread. Last week they lost to Cincinnati by 35, but we know Cincinnati's got a good team and your favorite quarterback. But UCF lost to Navy by 4. Okay, Memphis beat Navy by 18. So I'm using the numbers game and saying, go Tigers, go. GTG, go Tigers, go. I think they win by 3 to 7 points, so go with my Tigers.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you, Dave. I'm on the Memphis Tigers this week. Not so much for the same reasons, but similar enough. I just think Memphis is the better team this year. I think UCF is a little overrated. I think they're going to be a little demoralized after getting their asses kicked last week against Cincinnati. They were dressed up in the nice NASA unis, and they got absolutely demolished. So I think they'll have a little bit of a hangover early, and I think Memphis will jump on them because of it. So I'm with you. I like Memphis in that one.
All right, very good.
Friday night scaries as well. It always
Friday? Cool. Awesome.
Always got to look at those.
Yeah. So next up we got Boston College at Louisville. So Louisville's getting 6.5 points here. So man, I was looking at this one going so even.
Right.
Boston College is 4-2 against the spread. They've lost their last 2 games. Okay.
Yep.
And NC State beat them pretty good, 33-7 at home at Boston College. So not too hot. Their biggest win, Boston College, is really like Temple, which isn't saying much. Louisville's 3-3. Their record 3-3 against the spread. So Boston College a little better and better against the spread, but who they played, right? Cards have lost their last 2 games as well against Wake and Virginia. Not exactly a powerhouse. They did beat the Knights there of UCF, and they beat Tallahassee State as well. So things to consider for sure. So I think this one's going to be a close game, and I don't think 6.5 is enough. So I'm going to say Boston College in this particular situation, and go ahead and get your points there.
I like that. I'm not on either side on this one. I know that Boston College has a team and a defense that is pretty relentless. They're going to get after you all 4 quarters. Louisville's got a great coach, great quarterback, and Malik. Well, I won't say great quarterback, but he gets it done. He's a dual threat. But But I'm with you here. I think Boston College in the points is the play if you're going to
Yep.
be on them.
All right, let's jump to
We'll bottle that up.
Big 12 and talk Oklahoma State unbeaten against Iowa State.
All right, let's do it.
And you would think that Oklahoma State would be favored in this one, but Iowa State's favored by 7 at home. Oklahoma State is 6-0, 4-2 against the spread. Their big wins are Texas, Baylor, and Kansas State. Not too shabby, really.
Not a bad resume.
It's pretty good. They've been putting up 400 yards a week the last couple of weeks, held the losing teams under 300. Jalen Warren is averaging 150 yards per game as of late as a running back for Oklahoma State. You know they always produce some pretty good running backs there, and this kid's doing a good job.
Yep.
Now Iowa State comes in 4-2, 3-3 against the spread. Their only win to hang their hat on was they did beat Kansas State by 13 last week, so on a bit of a roll. But we know they've had some a down. It's been a down year for them. They do have the third-ranked defense in the NCAA, and a lot of people don't know that. So that might keep the points down in this particular game. Brock Purdy hadn't really exactly torn it up. Really been kind of inconsistent, not like we've thought in the past. But the question is, can he do it this week? Can he come back? You know, they are favored. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say go with the Pokes and get you 7 points.
I think I'm with you there. I think I like the Pokes as well. I think they'll get the run game going. I think they'll be able to establish a good front seven against Breece Hall, and they'll be able to shut down Brock Purdy. I like him as well. I was against Oklahoma State hard at the beginning of the year. They were super shaky for those first 3 or 4 games, but it looks like they finally got it on track. Sanders looks like they figured out how to manage him a little bit better, to take the ball kind of out of his hands and make him, not have to do as much as he thought he did. So I think I'm with you there. I think Oklahoma State is the side.
I agree. All right. So we're straight there. Let's see.
Right.
Moving on up over to your ACC again. Wake Forest and Army. I know you love those academies, so it's probably why you threw this one in there. So Wake Forest is 6-0, and they're getting 3 points. So Wake Forest by 3 is what Vegas says.
Yep.
Now Wake Forest is only 2-4 against the spread, so that scares you a little bit, right? But right now they're the big dogs in the ACC. Right now. They beat Syracuse by only 3 last week.
Yeah.
And they beat Louisville by 3 the week before. They've got the 38th ranked offense, averaging 441. That's not bad for Wake Forest, in my opinion, really. They've got this kid, his name's Sam Hartman, quarterback there. He's ranked 20th in quarterback efficiency in the nation. Again, not too shabby for Wake Forest.
Former QB1 showcase right there.
Oh, that's right. He sure was.
Yeah.
So Army comes in 4-2, 3-3 against the spread.
Yep.
Their last 2 losses against Wisconsin, which you can go, okay, but they lost to Ball State. Not really any big wins up to this point. I know you were high on them at the beginning of the year. Maybe this is their big win. They come out of here. They got the number 1 rushing attack. But, triple option. Can they do it? They're going to be tough to defend. I say go with Wake. I think Wake wins by 7 or 10 points, to be honest with you, in this game. So I'm Wake all the way here.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. This was one that I selected as one of my games for this week that I'm pretty high on. I think people looked at this game that Army played last week against Wisconsin, They lost 20-14, and they went, oh shit, Army's nice again, just like last year. Their defense is elite. We've bet on Army a couple times this year. We've picked them a couple times, and they've been solid for us, but sometimes they haven't. So I've watched them a couple times. The biggest issue and the biggest key factor in this game is Army's quarterback. When they were rolling towards the beginning of the year, Christian Anderson, he suffered a shoulder injury about 3 weeks ago against Miami of Ohio, and he hasn't been playing since. He's a huge factor for Army. The other guys that they've played at the quarterback position in that time span really haven't been able to run the ball like he has. I mean, he was having 200-yard rushing games. It was insane. Wake Forest, like you mentioned, Sam Hartman, their offense is clicking. They got their defense rolling right now. They're the top seed in the ACC right now. It was Wake Forest.
They are.
It's insane. They also have a week of rest. They had a bye week last week, so they got that extra week to prepare for Army in the option. I'm with you. I'm all over Wake here. I'm going to take them down to the money line just to be on the safe side there. But I'm pretty confident that Wake Forest gets it done by the spread, if not 7 or so, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you there.
Yeah. All right, cool. Next one, kind of interesting, out on the West Coast here. So we got Nevada versus Fresno State. Fresno State's getting 3. So Nevada is 5-1, which I didn't realize. 4-2 against the spread. Their big win against Boise State, Nevada's is. Their biggest loss at Kansas State by 21. Nevada's averaging 500 yards in the last 2 weeks a game. Now Fresno is 5-2, and 5-2 against the spread. They've beaten UCLA and Wyoming. They only lost to Oregon by 7. They've got a quarterback. His name is Jake Hayner. He is ranked 13th in the nation, 164 passer efficiency, so pretty hot dude. And he is that offense of Fresno's is ranked 11th in the nation. So you go in looking, the line's tight, their numbers are tight, but I'm gonna say that Fresno has the home field. And I think this quarterback and that offense of Fresno's makes a difference. So enough for me to say that Fresno will more than cover here. So they're getting 3, so 5, 7, something like that. So for Fresno State. So that's my.
I like it. Fresno's a solid team this year. They got, like you said, they got the upset victory over UCLA earlier. They gave Oregon a really good game. Only lost by 7 to them. Shut out Wyoming last week. But then there's also the Fresno team that's a little sketchy, and the Fresno team that loses to Hawaii by 3, and the Fresno team that beats a very bad UNLV team by 8, 38-30. So that's my fear here is kind of what Fresno State team are you going to get? Are they able to turn the consistency on? Same sort of issue with Nevada, right? I mean, Nevada was pegged at the beginning of the year to be, one of the best teams outside of the Power 5 to make a push for one of those New Year's games, maybe to get into the playoffs as one of those sneaky slots.
And they got a quarterback that was supposed to be a stud, but he hadn't panned out like this kid here has.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, Nevada's got some key victory. They beat Hawaii, like you mentioned earlier when you had a little comparison between the teams. It's hard to do, but, it's also something definitely worth, considering for sure. Nevada's beaten California. They lost to Kansas State. So they beat Boise. They've sort of been up and down. I'd probably actually be on Nevada here in the points, to be honest with you. I think Nevada this is their one that if they really wanted to make a statement this year and kind of let people know, we're better than our record shows, or we're better than what we've kind of shown on the field, this would be the one. But I'm probably just gonna stay away from it. But that's probably where I would lean for sure.
All right. Very good. Let's see. Moving on down. This is one of the old rivalries here: USC
That's
and
right.
Notre Dame. So Notre Dame's favored by 6.5. USC 3-3 record, 3-3 against the spread. Their biggest win against Colorado. We got the lame duck coach in there, quarterback Slovis. I looked at the top 50 quarterbacks, and he's not even in there. So not even a mention. So you would have thought this guy was going to be something, but he's had a rough year. Notre Dame, however, 5-1, 3-3 against the spread. Their only loss against Cincinnati. I mean, neither one of us have really been high on them this year. Their big wins against Wisconsin and Purdue now. Who did Purdue beat last week? Purdue beat Iowa. So there's no real big wins. No real big wins. But in this situation, they're playing at Notre Dame, and USC sucks. And I mean, they really suck. I think Notre Dame can get them by a touchdown. So I'm gonna go, as much as I hate it again, to my friends, my Catholic friends that love the Irish. I'm gonna I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. Gonna go with Notre Dame.
You're gonna go with Notre Dame on it. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm up and down with it on this one. Like you said, USC sucks. I mean, Slovis is not the guy for them going forward in the future. Notre Dame, same sort of issue though. I mean, Jack Cohn is not the guy either. I don't know the situation if they decided to move with the backup. Well, when he played a couple weeks back, when Cohn got hurt, I'm having a brain fart right now of who they were playing, but they put the backup in, and he was clicking on offense. He was able to start moving the ball. Before that, they were dry. They couldn't do anything. I think if they give that young guy a chance, they might be able to salvage something still of this season for Notre Dame and maybe get something positive out of it to move forward into next year with him as QB. But like you said, I mean, we have not been high on them this year at all. But I think I'm with you just on the fact that it is a home game for Notre Dame. They'll have their home fans rallied. It is that rivalry game. It goes back forever. So I think if I was on a side, I'd have to go Notre Dame with you. But rivalry games are always tough, right? Especially with this sketchy Notre Dame team. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready enough to take them with you, but that would probably be the side that I would lean towards for sure.
Yep.
For sure.
All right. Let's hit the last one we're going to talk about today. BYU getting 4 on Washington State. So when you sent this one over to me, I'm like, let's see what we got here. So and now I see why. Because I think you can win money on this one. BYU.
I hope you're on my side when you say all that.
I'm sure I will. I've got to be. I think we're starting to click on those. So BYU 5-2, 3-3 against the spread. Now they have lost their last 2 games, but that was against Baylor and Boise State. Right. Their biggest win was early in the year against Utah by 9. They are averaging 400 yards of offense. I think they got a pretty reasonable quarterback in Jared Hall, who's taken up where our New York Jet was doing there at BYU. Washington State, however, 4-3, and I didn't know anything about them until I took a look. But they're 4-3 against the spread. They've won their last 3 games. But and they won last week against Stanford. Now here's the crossover game. They did lose to Utah, which was a common opponent of BYU. Washington State QB, Delora is his name, has got interception issues the last few games. So with that said, and the fact that Washington State lost to Utah, I'm saying BYU here.
I'm with you. I like BYU here. I think this is a game that they use as a motivational tool to get back on track. The biggest factor here as well for me is Washington State's coaching staff just got absolutely eviscerated. I mean, they lost their head coach, they lost their DB coach and associate head coach. They lost, I think, their wide receiver they lost their quarterbacks coach and like co-OC. They lost their O-line coach. They lost half their coaching staff just because of this COVID thing. For that reason right there, I think it's BYU. You're putting a lot of the faith in guys that are grad assistants and other guys around the field that they're just picking and choosing, plopping them off the street to make it fit and work for the rest of the season so they find some permanent guys going forward. I think BYU coaching just eats them up because of that. I think they keep them on their toes. They show them stuff that frustrates them, and it's BYU all day. I like that, like a 30-14 type of game right there. I think they handle them pretty well.
It should be in one of our guarantees for sure. Like a couple of others that we felt pretty strongly about. That's why I say I knew why you put it up there. It was like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
This one's money in the bank for sure.
For sure.
So we got another one on here. I missed it.
Oh
we
yeah,
got Virginia Tech and Syracuse.
That's right.
Forgot another ACC, that powerhouse ACC, man. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. So Virginia Tech getting 3.5 over Syracuse. This one really made me think hard, and I think we might be at odds here, but we really shouldn't because I think I'll pick the winner. So Virginia
I
Tech.
hope we're at odds.
3-3. So 500, 2-5 against the spread. Hokies lost their last 2 games to Notre Dame, but only by 3, and to Pitt by 21.
Mm-hmm.
They only got 224 yards against Pittsburgh. Okay. They did get 321 against that powerhouse Notre Dame. Their big win. Virginia Tech's big win was the first game of the year against that very consistent North Carolina Tar Heels, the consistent roller coaster Tar Heels. So that's their signature win. Syracuse, 3-4, 6-1 against the spread. They have lost 3 games by 3 points. Clemson by 3, Wake by 3, Tallahassee State by 3. They put up 514 yards on Wake Forest. They got a dual threat quarterback, and his name's Garrett Schrader. Seems very exciting. So I am going to with authority say.
With authority.
With authority. Give me those 3.5 points. I'm going orange, man.
I love it. It's fantastic. Yes, we are 100% at odds on this one. This is a showdown game of the week. Hopefully, I can finally redeem myself. You are 4-0 in the last 4 of these, Dave. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. But you are 4-0 in our last 4 showdown games of the last 2 weeks. I am on Vatek here. I think they get back on track. I had Vatek earlier at the beginning of the year. I called them pulling that upset against North Carolina to start the year. I think Burmeister and Flores, this is a game that they need and they use to get back on track. I think this is something that they're overreacting based off of what Syracuse did and competing against Clemson. Clemson is not good this year. Their offense is absolute trash. So I think this is just an overreaction by Vegas on that part and based on what Virginia Tech's done lately. I like Virginia Tech to get back on track. Showdown game, Dave. Boom.
This is it. This is it
Boom.
right here, baby.
I'm getting. This is where I turn it around on you with the showdown.
So you think it should be like -7 or 10 or something like that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think Virginia Tech handles them pretty well. I think they get out early. I think the score at one point, I see it being like 21-3 kind of deal. I like Virginia Tech to get out on them pretty quickly, especially at home. Put their foot on their neck and kind of try to make them a little bit more one-dimensional and have them throw the ball more.
Okay. All right.
I got one more for you, Dave. I don't know if you saw it. We got the sneak in. We got the sneak in game.
What you got?
Sneak in game of the week on you. Some more ACC because I know you love it.
I do. What you got?
We got Clemson at Pittsburgh. So this game, Dave, the reason I picked it is because it's very, very interesting line-wise.
It is.
This game opened with Clemson being the favorite at -3.5. It has now switched and gone completely opposite side of the spectrum to Pittsburgh being favored by 3.5. What say ye, sir?
Oh man, this one is interesting because we got on the outs, and we got Pittsburgh trying to make a turnaround in this game. So it's three. It's Pitt's getting 3 now. Yeah, Pitt's getting 3 now.
Yep. So Pittsburgh's favored by 3.5.
I mean, here's the deal. I honestly have trouble with Clemson even being able to score 20 points against anybody these days. As I think about it, and we had Pitt got whooped by one of our teams that we're looking at. Pitt won. Who'd Pitt win against last week? Because it was somebody we're talking about, wasn't it?
No, I don't think we were on it last week, but they beat Virginia Tech.
They're playing against one of the teams that we.
Oh yeah. They handled Virginia Tech 28-7.
Yeah. Yes.
In Blacksburg.
And this game is in Pittsburgh.
Yep, it's at Heinz Field. Home game for the Panthers.
I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh here. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. This is just off the cuff, no research, but I usually like to spend a minute or two taking a look at things. But I just don't think Clemson can score 20 points on anybody.
No.
And I think Pittsburgh can score 20 points. So,
yep.
If I was picking, straight up, I'd definitely say Pittsburgh. That 3 might be good, but I'll go Pittsburgh here.
Yep, I'm with you, Dave. I think Pittsburgh, this is a game that Narduzzi gets his guys ready for. I know far too well from the past, during Mark Richt's era at Miami, we got up to number 2 at one point, our highest ranking, and then Pittsburgh came to town and gave us a reality check. That was Kenny Pickett in the first year that he's quarterback. Now he's in about his 30th year as Pittsburgh's quarterback. So they have the experience, they have the defense. Their defense has been shaky. It's been a lot shakier this year than others for sure. But if Narduzzi can get them on track and get them prepared for this game, which I think they do, I think they give Clemson's offense fits, just like you're saying. I don't see Clemson scoring 20 points in this game. And because of that, I think that's a huge, huge factor. And that ends up sort of being the issue here. I think Pittsburgh's able to handle them pretty well.
Yeah. Interesting, for sure. It's just amazing how the ACC's turned around this year. So, very interesting. It's been fun, definitely.
Oh yeah.
The ACC.
100%. 100%.
Awesome. Cool. So, chill week for the Dogs and Gator fans. So it's time to chill. Just watch some football. Don't get too excited and get ready for Jayville next week out.
That's right.
We'll all be there together. By the way, Miami Mike and Gator Dave and calling
Public House?
what Public House. Yes, Public House will be there as well, along with Brazil, the lady from Brazil will be with us as well. So,
That's right.
should be fun times.
Oh yeah, it'll be a blast, man. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great.
Yep.
We'll do a little bit of a live show there maybe, and
Cool. That'd be real cool.
For sure.
We could do that at the tailgate.
Oh yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Yeah. Special live remote Miami Mike and cocktail party.
There you go.
Sounds like a winner.
All right. Real quick, I do want to make a quick announcement. Shout out to everybody in the chat who's in there. We see you. Appreciate you guys being in there this week with us, as always. Also, I want to make a quick announcement. We are doing a new show upcoming this next week. It's going to be Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be Public House Polls and Steel City Rips. They'll be on there talking cards, what's hot right now, what's cold, what you need to sell, what you need to look out for, buy, all that good stuff. If you're into making money, make sure to check out that show so you can get into the investment game when it comes to these cards. And that's all I got, Dave.
All right. Well, I can say go Gators, but that we're 2 weeks out. But, It is what it is. Everybody enjoy their weekend of football, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
All right.
Go
Good
Gators.
luck this week. All right, Dave.
See you guys.